Welcome to the Voice of Many podcast show with Yolanda and Vanessa.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Our podcast would not be possible without you and our sponsor, Z-Funk Productions. We're excited to bring you our very first special edition, which will air twice in support of our guest, his movie cast, and crew. We want to welcome to our show actor, executive movie producer, and CEO of Bray Films, Mr. DeVon Bray.
Mr. Bray, we're so glad to have you here. I want to ask you to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
My name is DeVon Bray. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. We have a term calling that pretty much the heart of the country. A little bit about me. I pretty much excelled in the arts all my life. I got a long list, so I'm not going to bore y'all with a long list of accomplishments and things. Recently, last year, I did win Best Videography award in my city. It's real big. I was up against a lot of guys, but the love is so good here in my city, as far as what I've done for my community for years. Pretty much everybody expected me to win that, so I thought that was a real big honor. But yeah, just pretty much excelling in the arts. I won so many contests that I beat talking all day, just dealing with the arts, dealing with artists, dealing with singers, just actors. Just anybody that have anything to do with the arts, I'm kind of like all in, with it, specifically in my city and in the urban sector of things. But yeah, that's pretty much what I mean.
So, with your movie, The Pearl, how did you come up with the idea and the concept for it?
The idea of the movie actually came from a writer that was a bass player at my church. But in order for me to shoot it, I had to add some elements to it that I could identify with as far as my upbringing, low income, street mentality. That's who I used to be. So it's just, I had to add elements in there that I could really identify with to make it more interesting for me to shoot it. But also able to add the elements of the writer of usage of cocaine, things of that nature, to create this real interesting storyline that I thought that was real nice for me to shoot. And then I also added another element of rehab, because I didn't want to leave the movie just on the addiction aspect of it. I kind of want a way out for our character. And so then was the added elements that I added to the movie, but it was a collaboration, which sparked a lot of interest because, not that it mean anything, because my writer was white, he just had a perspective or a side of things, and I had a side, and we was able to bring them two together and create something that kind of you ain't never seen before, and that's a blessing. That was the benefit of that production, was just normally two things that probably couldn't be, two stories that couldn't be told at one time, was actually able to be done, specifically in that movie. So yeah, that's kind of how it all came about. But a lot of my ideas that I had for the movie, it was just pulling from, what I've known in life and what I was accustomed to, and things that I was familiar with, So yeah, so it does have somewhat a Jordan Peele / John Singleton element to it, So it's a lot going on with it, and I think that's why it's catching the buzz that it's catching.
Okay. I'm about to jump here a little bit, but the little boy who played Travis, the younger version of him in Pearl 2, are they related somehow?
Yeah, that's real interesting because what ended up happening is Pearl 1 was just a short film. And when I add all of my pieces to it, it gave the runtime of the movie about an hour or something, which made it a movie. So, but after watching Pearl 1, we was getting like hit up with so many questions like, okay, what happened? What was that person, and Pearl 2 is just explaining everything that all them holes that was missing in Pearl 1. So, so where the kid came up, we had to take y'all back as far as to call the movie Pearl, how it all mushed together. And the crazy thing is, none of that was created. We had to create that and make sense of what you seen in part 1. You know what I mean? So it's just, hey, one second. Can you hold up 1 second? Just 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about my grandbaby. So back what I was saying. So when we got to that point, I had to use, I had to take them years back when they was kids to kind of make sense of everything. And I already knew his son. They looked alike, so I'm like, hey, would y'all? Because when you dealing with movies, you got to get parental. You got to get that stuff signed off by parents and things like that. And so I really don't deal with a lot of kids, but I'm already their parents are already acting. So not only my main actors, they're married also. So they're married, and that's their son. So everything that we're producing, that we're doing, is all family based. And so yes, Kendall's son, and he's just a natural. It was just and we had some other kids. I had other scenes with other kids. He was actually helping other kids, like, he's coaching on everything. So I mean, just to be on set and see how this stuff is created, sometimes it can bring tears to your eye because none of us really know what we were doing at that point. And when you see the final product and the response from people, you like, that was like people like, man, I really liked that part in the movie, and people don't realize like everything that it took to make that happen. Like that, his parents had to, practice with him for probably a couple weeks on the lines, and so when we began to start acting, he's like, man, he did real good. Well, he worked for that, he worked to deliver and make that delivery. Yes, even just a kid. And so I don't know. It's funny that you asked that, but I think that would probably been the only way we was ever going to pull something off like that and made it come out as good as it did. That is actually being the actor's son. So yeah,
because he played that part so well, and I was like, he looks just like him. Like he had to be either his son, nephew, or somehow related to him because he was on point with that part.
Well, I will say this. I'm very, very huge on character placement, meaning even when I depicted a flashback scene of his father, which was you depicted in there, I've tried to, I know a lot of people in my city, and one day, Horace, we call him Horace, he put up a picture on Facebook, and I was like, man, he looked just like the main actor, and so I casted him, and he came and he did that. So when I depict something that's in the past, I try my hardest, and even if you got limited resources, you got to do your best. but as far as my character placement, that it actually looks. You know how you watch movies, and some movies, you know, and like they didn't do good on on that character placement, as far as that was supposed to be that person as a kid. So I really wanted to nail that. So I'm real excited that you validating that I nailed that character placement on that piece, because that's exactly what I was going after. So thank you for that.
You did. You really did. So what made you go into the production side of the business?
The production side, because everyone I actually know, we're in front of the camera, you know, and I had a point in my life when I was in position of being in front of the camera, and I wanted to, you know, continue to be in front of the camera, but as you begin to increase in the what you would call the quality of camera that you buy, you're not going to be able to film yourself, because they're designed to film other people. So when I did that, and I'm like, wow, I can't film myself no more. You started filming other people, and instantly I began to start loving it. You know, getting a response from doing things for people that they can't do for themselves, and that's how it pretty much all started for me.
I want to ask you a question that's not there. Now in Pearl 2, the section that part of the movie that my daughter and I laughed about and we could relate to is the cookies. Yes. I mean, that was, how did that part come into the film? It was perfect.
See, it's crazy. You're pulling out every scene that I wrote in there. Because, you know, again, because when you get a script as a director, you're gonna see holes in it everywhere, you know, and I got to tell my story. That's my life too, you know. That I can identify with that too. That's my mom. So basically, that scene came about because Thomas was going to end up in church. You know, the male actor. We had to put him in a church scene, but I wanted to create a way for him to get there because his character had nothing to do with church. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's a police officer, whatever. So, and I know what can get you to church. A woman can get you to church now. She can get you to church, and she do it right. You know, she do it right. So when it came to that scene, I had a comedian in the city was giving like, boy, I'm ready to do some work with you. So I just wrote that in because she's a comedian. And again, I'm big on character placement. I really felt like that looked like that could be her mom, you know, and the lady that I had in there, one of the rappers that I got good relationship with, that was his mom. And I actually went to church with her. So all these people you see in there in the movie, these are people I have relationship with. Either I went to church with them or I met them as far as my business out serving my community. So when I made that, I had to create this little piece where, you know, he got invited to church, and I don't know, you know, just me just coming to my ability of writing, because now I'm writing my movies fully just myself now. It just kept pulling on me, and I wrote that piece in there. I don't think my writer really liked it, but see, I wanted to identify to my audience, which you said that part, you know, stuck out to you. So I'm like, oh, I'm confirming that going with God. I'm like, it makes me want to go with God because I felt like I was prompted to do that, and have I not had that scene in there, you know, maybe the movie wouldn't meant as much to you as it do because it being in there. And so that's huge, you saying that, because Yeah, and that's how that it kind of looked like I just threw it in there. I did.
It flowed.
I did,
it was perfect. It was
right.
I died laughing.
Yeah, because I told my daughter, I said, "Oops." I was like, "Yeah, I can definitely relate." It was perfect. It was perfect. So, I know you've been in the movie industry now for several years. What has been some of the challenges you had to face in order to get to the point to where you are now?
The challenges is pretty much like what everybody else. If you're trying to get into this, it's gonna be staring you right in the face, and that's money. You know, if the thing that worked for me was that I was already serving my community, so people didn't need to get paid to come out and do their gifts. And I had equipment already, so I had no overhead, So when you tell people you produced a movie with a $0 budget, and then you look at that movie like, bro, yeah, right. And so I always ask God, like, why did I have to go through all this trouble to produce this? And God simply reminded me. He said, for the greater the story, the greater the story. It's just David's victory just seems so much more awesome because he took down a big giant with a slingshot. Had he came in with a sword, that's what we expected. That's the tool that they use. But having all odds stacked against him and prevailing, that's just God's way of doing things. And that's pretty much what happened to me. I trusted God throughout my life. Had I tried to start out doing movies, I wouldn't have the support that I had after all them 9 years of supporting my community. It was their time to support me. And they came out and they did it. So they came to the location. These are people that just open up their businesses that I've done work for, in the past, or I exchanged my service to do a commercial for them, and it was the hard way getting it, but I just believe. And one of the biggest things, if I believe something, if faith without works is dead. Believing is just not enough. And every exploit that when I went out to try to get a location or whatever, it was just happening to the point of just I was filming in some area, and we end up in another area by a warehouse, and the dude just sitting outside like, man, y'all can film in here if y'all want to. We have photographers come here all the time. I'm like, what in the world? So we had a warehouse. If things like this will continue to happen, I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be. I'm supposed to do this, And then you see the manifestation, and then I held 2 showings in the theaters here in my city at Warren, and the whole news station came out, and it was just another thing of confirmation. I didn't ask them to come out, and they just said, man, hey, look, ain't nobody shoot movies in this city. And the city guy has a lot of money. There's a lot of rich people here. We barely even have a hood now, so it's like everybody started coming out, and it's like, wow, this is crazy. So even the more makes me want to pursue. And then I meet y'all, so that's pretty much the journey of the whole thing. And forgive me if I got off the question and got back on the question, but that's pretty much.
Well, because like whenever I was corresponding with you back and forth, I was like, there's got to be another part. There just got to be another part. I mean, because it flows so well to where it could almost be, in my point of view, I'm someone looking on the inside out, outside in, is that it could be a mini-series. I mean, to me, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And I love it.
And the thing is that you're tapping into, that is the thing with me and my writer, because I know I'm getting to movies and movies, but he's always been a web series. If you want to dig deep into my background of why, I can't say I just started out just with this movie. And that's why when you say you've been doing this for some years, I actually have. starting all the way back to 2016, doing web series that's on currently right now on YouTube. If you type in Loose Ends, and basically you will find out that this movie is really a continuation of that, so he couldn't break off of it. So I'm not upset about it. I mean, it's just, in order for me to do movies on a completely different narrative, he has other movies too, but I really think his heart is in web series and continuing the story to continue to go on and on and on. So for me, you're hitting it right on the mark. I would let that be his baby. He already got part 3 written. So your answer to that, part 3 is already written. But he has things in his world that he wants to do and have set up. So it's giving me time to create other narratives and write my movies that's been on my heart, because I feel like I owe that all to him. That's why I'm continuing to push this movie. He probably barely even posted, because there's a lot going on in his world in that regard, as far as he trying to do some things himself. But I took this project on like it was pretty much I wrote it, simply because I got so many people involved in this production that I got a relationship with, and I'm just keeping my word. And I feel like what we did was good enough to get a distribution deal that I pretty much just recently signed. It's really going to help out my actors in believing that this is something that we all want to put all our eggs in the basket and pursue.
Great. I'm excited. So what has been your greatest accomplishment while in the movie industry?
It had to be this recent thing, the sign of distribution deal with Maverick Movies, that I was just really just on Amazon, because they open they doors open to me to use their platform for my movie making. But as we both know, there's so like many other streaming platforms, and we would probably spend the next 10, 12 years trying to break in on every platform. So this was like a speedy recovery for me. Like, it's going to cause everything to move so much faster. Anytime, it's no different than what Master P did when he went and signed his deal. But what people don't know, I don't build houses without counting the cost. I know a lot of work ahead of me. When you look at Master P documentary, he knew this going in. And so right now I'm in a place to condition my mind to push out 2 to 3 movies a year, going full time in this, because you have an outlet now, and I can dominate that sector right now if I take it serious enough to do so. I have the support to do it, and I could definitely do that. So for me, my biggest accomplishment is this distribution deal. Right now, my family, like, we're not making a big deal about it. We did celebrate a little bit, but it's like, we know how much work we're going to have to do now. We all kind of like just taking a deep breath, like, yay! Like, it's like that type of, like, yay! Because already just on just the first movie that we're doing a distribution deal on, we had to get so much stuff, and I always told myself, look, I'm just gonna shoot these movies and worry about all that on the back end. Well, the back end hit me now. Because a lot of people, they take care of all that stuff on the front end, they be ready, but then things never go nowhere. So I didn't want that to stop me from just getting the movie done. So I just got the movie done. I said, look, I don't know nothing about the business side. I deal with all that after the movie's done. And that worked for me because I was able to get some crash courses, talk to some lawyers, and get the information I need to know to make the right decisions on the business side once it presented itself. I had 2 years to get ready for that because I had part 1 done in 2018, and we're just now getting a deal on that movie. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. I'm sorry if I'm long-winded, but yeah.
You're good. So how are you working to make sure Black movies stay alive?
One is use Black people. You know, for me, I can't tell my stories without Black people. I would be producing movies that I can't really identify with. You know, a lot of people mention black on black crime. Well, the main reason that's that way is because that's what you're going to get around. And if there's a problem that arises, then the Black person is going to be on the other side of that. You know, so when people don't realize that there's simply a void or a lack of urban actors, is because there's a lack of urban producers. You get what I'm saying? And I hate to reveal this ugly truth, but the film industry is segregated. This is as segregated as the country. So it's one of them things that I plan to go in and change the narrative. You know, not necessarily making it all about Black, because you can't just have the Black people and tell every story that you need to tell, but giving everyone that opportunity. That if I have a story to tell, it's not going to be a bias, but it's going to be my truth, but it's not going to have a bias on it. You get what I'm saying? I want it to be, I just want to do what I do for all people, but I am aware that we've been left out, and I do need to balance the scale on that, you know? So, yeah. So I go in purposely with this agenda, you know, paying people of color what they're worth, and you know, because look, I came from nothing anyway. So, what an extra $1 million gonna do for me? You know what I mean? Come on, let's be real. I'm here to balance the scales. You know, God's scales on this film industry. And so the ideas is going to be with me. It's going to be with us. It's going to be, you know, we have a narrative that ain't been told for years, that it's just going to open things up. It's just going to open things up. And also, this giving me the ability to actually express myself in a different light than just music, which I've been doing all my life. So, you know, I love it. I love it.
So how, with that, how are you picking your actors and your actor and actresses for your roles, as well as your extras?
I like to tell people straight up. I don't like to beat around the bush about this. It's about family. It's about people that I have a relationship with, like I have with y'all right now. You know, if you have if let's say your daughter was an actor, that's how I select, because this is the truth about filmmaking and production. I could take Denzel Washington, and you could put him in a low budget production. His acting is not going to look all that great. Okay, what people fail to realize that it's really the production that solidify the quality of a movie over the actor. Though there's actors with great performances and all that, but that scale is a lot smaller than the scale on the producer side. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I pick people based upon the story I'm trying to tell, because I always know that person. So I just play them to their strength. So that's why a lot of my actors don't look amateur, because I already knew these people, and I know their characteristics and their personality, and what I'm reading on the paper match that. I just put them right into it. And it's just, and then now that I'm controlling the narrative on even writing, I can actually write my movie around the characters, write it around his strengths, write it around, you know, everything that make this story that I'm telling look real. Because that's the biggest thing with movie making. But it can't look like they're acting. And so they get on-set training. Like y'all made me comfortable in this interview. I take that same approach with first-time actors. By the time we get to filming, they're having so much fun, they don't realize the camera's even there. And that's my key. in choosing my actors and choosing the people that, because also when you get to the legal side of it, if you got people that want to make things tough for you, they can. So it's real crucial when you select as actors that everything runs smooth and flow. And that's why even on my side, when I come into a lot of money, I'm going to take care of people real good. Just like I see Tyler Perry doing. I'm not changing at all. That works, you know. Taking care of people, it really works. So that's how I choose my people. And also, not only that I'm going to be blessing my people, I'm going to be giving them wisdom with the finances that they give, that they might want to invest. Don't go and buy chains and you know, specifically some of my rappers, and just give them some wisdom with it too. So it's more to it than just how Hollywood does things. You know, this is kind of like building people's career. My approach is more building careers for people that probably didn't even know they had it in them.
That's good. You're getting the best out of them, bringing the best out of them in their role.
Yes, 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 yes.
So what is next for you, Devin, and what movie projects do you have in the works?
What's next for me is just getting to that place where, you know, you done did it all. God has shown me I'm gonna be a billionaire. So, you know, it's what's next for me is getting to that place where the only thing left to do is give back to people. You know, so I see myself for the next 10 or maybe 15 years producing between 20 and 30 movies, using that influence to build an infrastructure, a church, I should say, that I can release nothing but God. You know, my whole life at this point is really getting close as I possibly can to Him and impacting as many lives I possibly can while I'm still on Earth. You know, and people may say, "Oh, I may win awards." I already won so many awards already, just locally, but nationally, and just win these awards. But the whole time I'm doing all this, I know it ain't about none of that. And I'm sorry, that's just where it's not about none of that. It's about imparting on the inside of people things that's missing, that's going to cause them to come to the place in life that they see themselves to be. No one sees themselves as coming to nothing or falling short or, you know, things that I see myself to be. I always wonder, like, I can't live if that don't come to pass in my life. And trying to put that same hunger on the inside of people, that's going to be my main agenda when it's all said and done. You think about it now, I've heard do more talking on platforms than probably anything else at this point. You know, we want to hear what he got to say. What is his story? You know, and so I got a story to tell. I will be doing a movie on my own life. But yes, and then the movies that I'm doing, I got a couple movies I'm gonna share with y'all. The one I'm doing right now is Moving Silence. That's predominantly dealing with our black and white issues that we're dealing with. Is the main character, which I know he's in Pearl 2, which is Thomas Hanks. Yes, that's his real name, Thomas Hanks. And he's a deaf, older Black Panther, retired Black Panther activist that encounter a conflict of an interracial relationship moving next door. So you can only imagine the stuff that I'm about to, you know. And my goal in that movie is to simply just to bring up a lot of topics from the way that I see it of you know, how we deal with it in society, whatever. But it has a Jordan Peele element to it too, so please buckle up. To me, this movie is like major, and it's a thriller. I'm a thriller type of guy. But I have another movie called Insurance because I got viral pages on Facebook, and a lot of my following is like Tyler Perry following. So the thing about me as a movie director, you're going to see so many different looks from me. I'm not one dimensional in my storytelling. That you're not going to know what you're going to get from me. Let's just say that. So I don't. That's why I know I'm gonna probably produce a lot of movies. But Surety is dealing with something that I grew up with, and this could give the story away, but you still gonna go want to watch it. But Surety is really dealing with a lot of things that I encountered with growing up, watching all around me, and just I see why. For example, what do you think when you hear of a child that has his mother's name? That was something that always bothered me growing up. You know, there's a lot of things could have happened. They could have been in a rape situation. They probably don't know who the father is, or she probably don't want to get get a child the father's name. You got so many variables. So I'm playing around that a lot because you're gonna have people's stories, people that you think that's lying about who child it is. So it's dealing with just the unsurety that women go through with a lot of child issues or with men. So you got different scenarios and they're dealing with a lot of unsurety, and it really have a strong Tyler Perry approach to it, but that's in me too. You know what I'm saying? I can tell them, I can tell them stories. And then last but not least, I have a comedy. These are all that's on the table right now. I have a comedy, which is going to be my third one. And I got so many funny people in my city. It's just crazy. But it's called Mr. Cuddler. And it's basically this entrepreneur. He went into business and landed on this multi-million business that everyone laughed about, which is, he has an agency that you call him so they can come out and cuddle you.
Oh.
Look at that, y'all already laughing. So look, that's a hit movie. So if I can kind of laugh off that, then y'all know y'all about to be on the floor. So I'll write that movie, and every page I'm crying. I can't take it. I have to take a break. It's so funny. So y'all gonna see a lot from me, and it could all happen like boom, and y'all could still call me, and I would still talk to y'all. It's real crucial for me on this side. Everybody that I meet on my way going up. You get what I'm saying? I'm nobody right now. Ain't nothing going on. Listen, we probably got the same bank account money and all that. It ain't nothing going on with me, but I know it's about to. I know. And again, I love y'all so much, how y'all responding to the ideas of the movies that I have, on deck. It kind of ensured me even more just to pursue it, just trust my inner gut. Y'all like the scenes that I created, that I created myself. So it's like I already feel like I got my following already. Like I feel like y'all watch every movie that I put out anyway.
Yes.
So
We got you. We got your back here. You got full support.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when you're not making movies, what are you doing in your spare time?
I would like to say, man, I work 24/7, but in all actuality, my family, my grandbaby is like my biggest joy right now. If we talk in the future, I really would go in depth, but I can have y'all on the phone for like 9 hours, so I'm not gonna do that to y'all. But I'll give you a simple answer: it's my family. Family is like everything, and my grandbaby. I'm a young grandpa. I'm 41, but that's my fault. I had my kids as a teenager, so my daughter, she was 22 when she had her child, so. I think that's a good time to have a child. So don't pin it on my baby. It was my fault. Me being a young grandpa. But I think the blessing is that I have my health, and I can go out and play a basketball game, but I have a grandchild, so I have the energy. There's people my age still got kids. That's probably like 6 or 7. So I think the biggest thing for me is just being able to have the energy and missed out on my family by giving my whole life to, juvenile work and just being a career type of person and just being faithful, just working, just 9 to 5. I missed out on my family, dude. I never seen them. I never seen them. That my job was my whole life, and now I got nothing. I'm here. We're doing the pandemic and all that. I'm here 24/7 with my grandbaby, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. So when I'm not in that intense pace, working, putting together a movie or writing a movie or anything, or doing any type of work, I'll be like, "Hey, Bell," I call her Bell. I'll be like, "Hey, Bell." She's like, and he come running to her papa. That's my downtime right there. Yes, it is.
Who has been your biggest inspiration through your journey in your life?
For and foremost, of course, Jesus Christ. He the one that said he was going to do all this, and he came. He's coming through. He ain't lied. He's doing everything that he said he's going to do in my life. That's why I can stand here flat-footed and tell you I'm going to be a billionaire one day. It's not nothing he said to me that he did not bring to pass. On my side, he just want me to simply just make sure I'm ready for it. Make sure I know who I am and not get, lost in it all, But if I was to say someone that's on this earth that's influencing me greatly, I had a mentor. I've been under, I'm ministry no more. Of course, the pandemic, the shutdown, it done a lot of things. Let's just say that it done a lot of things, and his name is Dr. Cornelius Sanders. And basically, it's why I know everything that I know. Been under him for 18 years, him not holding back, teaching me about God and teaching me about life, how to be an entrepreneur. I love churches that teach you more than, it's more to God than just the cross. That's important, but it's more. There's principles and there's things that you need to know how to go out here and dominate and be successful in the workforce or in entrepreneurship. We was getting all that. We was getting how to manage your money and so he is the most influential person in my life, just hands down. The sense that you hearing coming out of me came from that man, and I love him dearly. I don't know where he at today. Life just have this way, just and I say one of my biggest lessons from him was just watching his life. I learned a lot from what came out of his mouth, but watching his life, knowing what works and what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would definitely be that person under Jesus that really influenced me. Not having no father, I always had that yearn for that male figure in my life to mentor me, to keep me from mistakes. Because there's 2 ways you're gonna learn out of life: mentors or mistakes. Mm-hmm. I choose to go towards the mentor route because it's the fastest way to your destination. And also the least pain. Mistakes have you bruised up real good, so. Yeah, Dr. Sanders, man, if he ever hear this, man, I love you, man. Thank God for you. You're the most influential person in my life, all the way up to this day. Yes. Okay.
Now, we have, there are so many people who are thinking about going into the entertainment industry. What advice would you like to share with our listeners that are thinking about doing
that? This is the best way I can put it. For example, we know how Tyler Perry got to where he got to with his plays, with the Medea character. I got to where I got to just really being around a lot of street people, shooting their music videos and learning my craft. quit trying to look for the perfect way to get to where you need to get to and just get there. You know, a lot of times it'll change. It could change. It do whatever, but you kind of need to just get there. You know, I wasn't gonna get there the way Tyler Perry got there. You know what I'm saying? I got there the way that I got there, and you have to use what you have to get to where you need to get to. And because at the end of the day, it's about supporting people. You know what I'm saying? So what you have, if it's going to bless people, then you have something. So that means if you're an actor, then you're going to want to be a blessing to whatever director that's in your city. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to use not getting paid or anything to stop you from getting the exposure that you're going to need. And let me track back. Let me just go back just a little bit for where I didn't share about me busting into film business. I've done a lot of free videos before I got paid for one. You know, you're going to find out if you make it all about money, then you're going to have a lot harder time getting there, all the way to probably never getting there. If you make it about it being your purpose, that's the most likely chance then that's the separation between people that don't make it and actually make it. You get what I'm saying? Now, of course, once you become, once you get into a place where your value is increased and you can put a dollar sign on it, then do so. I've done that, you know, but starting out, you don't never want to overestimate yourself. You want to go in as humble as you possibly can, and you want to gather all the knowledge and everything you need to understand about then that you can be the best you possibly can be in what you want to do in life. You got to get around it. You got to be a part of it. And you just think about my actors and then ain't asked for $1. But yet, these is going to be the people that's when I have, you know, when you get to a place where, you know, you have $1 million productions, these people, they're not even really actors no more. They're going to be part of the production crew. You get what I'm saying? So it's just one of them things that you just got to you just can't make no excuse for not doing it. And if you got to have money to do it, then I'm talking about on the ground up to get you to do it. Not that you need money because you need the tool, to buy the tools to do it, but you need money to even do what you claim that you're supposed to be doing. You might want to second guess it, because in this field, when it comes to acting and all that, people have the most horrendous, terrifying stories how they got to where they got to. I really ain't heard a peaches and cream story yet on any great story of someone that got to any high caliber place in this business. It's hard, you know. And then last but not least, don't compromise. Just don't compromise your integrity. Don't compromise, you know, things that you know deep down you're going to regret later. Mm-hmm. What's for you is for you. It will happen, you know. And then being real with yourself. You know, I think I'm an okay artist. I love rapping. I love creating music. I think what I got is unique and it all can be true in itself. Nonetheless, is that the void? Well, actually, no, because there's 1 million rappers, so maybe, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you got to be honest with yourself. If there too many people already doing that? You know what I mean? So, you know, go find that void. Go find that void in this business. Everybody probably don't need. I got this one. I call him a clapper. You know that thing. They were like, take one, boom, clap that thing. Okay, we had that on set. Well, she was a drummer. Uh-huh. Yes. Hello?
I'm here. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So she has that clapper. So I mean, but what I've seen, and I'm like, she was a drummer in my church. I'm like, okay, well, they both kind of make the same sound. You hit the drum, that rim shot, and you hit this clapper. So she can identify with it. You can always find something, especially when it comes to movie producing, for everybody to do, and you have to understand in this field, it's really always on set training. None of these people, like, they can put down credentials or whatever, but it's going to be different. If you go to another set, you could be a different camera. Or it's a totally different movie, so the whole wardrobe, it's always so different. You really just need a team that's going to be solid to move to you, that know your flow, to move to each project with you. And a lot of times, it's people that's right around you. So pay attention to people that's right around you. If you're trying to start in this far as film work, or because you got a camera, use the people that's right. You ain't got to do nothing big, no cash and call. You go use them people right around you. Put that medium out, put that media out, and begin to start using that feedback from that to correct and make yourself better. And that's pretty much the whole tale. If you follow them simple truths, you're going to put yourself in the best position in this field to have success.
That's true. I believe it. But if you will please let our listeners know how they can follow you and keep in the loop on all your new movies you have coming our way.
Okay. I wish I was a lot more ready for this, but I do at least got a website, which is www.brayfilmsmovies, which is BRAYFILMSMOVIES @studio. So that's just my website. Y'all forgive me. I got a lot going on, so it's probably not as much as updated as I like, but if you want current things that I'm doing, if you just Google Bray Films, BRAYFILMS, I pop up everywhere. So I've been doing it for so long that I do have a little pool in the search engine. So once you Google Bray Films on YouTube or just Google, I just pop up everywhere. You'll instantly see my face. You'll even see my music. I mean, because a lot of times you put break films in, because I started out filming myself. You see music videos that I've done of myself probably like 7, 8 years, something like that. And then you start clicking the subscription, please subscribe. But you go into and you see a lot of my work. But all my movies is on pretty much on Amazon. So if you just go to Amazon and put in Pearl, that'll pop up. So it's kind of just, I'm all over the place right now because I have not set in yet. I'm on my way going up. So it's kind of like I told myself that I'll get all this together after it hit, because I've done so many things, went on so many exploits, and it's kind of like some things never hit. So it's like, okay, I did all that for nothing, But I rest assured that nothing is in vain when it comes to your life. Everything, even when you think you lost something, you learned something. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much how you're going to find me. Please just put Bray Films in. Even if you want to find me on Facebook, and don't be alarmed if you see 5 pages, them all my pages. Because I got so much traffic on Facebook. So I just, and I got all these personalities. I got one page is about family, the other one is about movies, and the other one is about music. I got too much going on. I'm multitasking. I'm a jack of all trades. Forgive me, I'm messed up, y'all. I'm not perfect at all. I'm pretty sure someone's gonna want to sit me down and say, "Look, brother, you need to do better with this." I know.
It's okay. And for all of our listeners, we will definitely post how you can keep in touch with him, and also keep up with our website as well as far as updates. As soon as he fills us with information, we'll pass it on to you as well. Before we sign off, we would like for you to take us off the air, and Vanessa will follow up behind you. Okay?
Okay. I'm taking us off there.
Yeah, we're going to let you sign us off in your own special way.
Well, y'all, it's been a blessing. I love you all you beautiful people out there. Bray Films, again, I'm easy to find. And I'm not a stranger. I will talk with anybody. Reach out to me, message me. And I love you all. Y'all all have a blessed day.
And with that being said, thank you to our listeners for listening to the Voice of Many podcast. If you have any questions or suggestions, please contact us on our many social media web pages. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we hope to talk to you later.